Hi everybody, in this video we're going to look at aggregate supply. This means the total amount that an economy is capable of producing with their factors of production at any price level. And it's very important that it's what they're capable of producing. It's not necessarily what the economy is producing, it's what they could produce. And we know the word aggregate means total, and in this case it's all of the supply curves of all of the firms in the economy put together. So how much are all those firms capable of producing at any one time? First of all, we're going to look at short-run aggregate supply, and then we'll go on to long-run afterwards. And the short run in economics, this means that at least one factor input is fixed. So one of the factors of production can't be changed when we're in the short run. So for example, we could look at wages, and we could look at the amount of people who are employed. And in the short run, we're assuming that we can't change the number of people who are employed. This is how you draw your diagram to show short-run aggregate supply. And remember, we're in theme 2, macroeconomics, and this axis is labelled price level. Remember, that's the average price level of goods and services within your economy. And this axis is labelled real output. The short-run aggregate supply curve is upward sloping, and it's relatively elastic. And the reason that it's shaped like this, let's go back to our example of wages, is let's imagine that the firm wants to supply more output. So they want output to go up from Y to Y1. Because we're assuming that the amount of people who are employed in the short run is fixed, this means that if they want to increase their output, they must pay overtime to some or all of the workforce, so the people who are working in their business. Overtime means that you're paying maybe what you paid them per hour and half of that again, so they get what we call time and a half. So you're paying your labour slightly more than you were previously every hour so that you can increase your output. You have to do this because you can't employ more people. We're assuming that in the short run, this factor of production of labour is fixed. So if they want to produce more, they need to pay overtime to some or all of their workforce. And what this will do is it will increase their costs slightly. It won't increase their costs significantly because they still have the same amount of people employed, and they're just paying some of the people more money. They're paying them overtime for the extra work that they're doing, but they're not employing more people overall. So as a result of the output going up, their costs will increase slightly. And because of that, they'll need to pass this on as a price increase for their customers because they have to cover this extra cost. And therefore, if lots of firms were doing this, this would cause the price level to increase slightly. It's not increasing significantly though, and therefore your short-run aggregate supply curve is relatively elastic. And we'll go on next to look at what can cause your short-run aggregate supply curve to shift to the left or shift to the right.